Simply learning a framework is not enough on its own. It is best for us in learning and in practice to understand why we should be using a framework and how it helps us. So, what is a framework? Let's start with a simple definition. A software framework is a universal, reusable platform to develop software applications, products, and solutions. Key words here to keep in mind are universal, reusable, and develop solutions. Now we need to understand what all frameworks should help us accomplish. These following 4 items from the Wikipedia page on software frameworks are considered distinguishing features of a framework. Inversion of control. In a framework, unlike libraries or normal user applications, the overall program's flow of control is not dictated by the caller, but yet by the framework. Default behavior. A framework has the default behavior. This default behavior must be some kind of useful behavior and not a series of no-ops. Extensibility. A framework can be extended by the user, usually by selective overriding, or specialized by user code to provide specific functionality. Non-modifiable framework code. The framework code, in general, is not supposed to be modified while accepting user-implemented extensions. In other words, users can extend the framework but should not modify its code. Aside from these 4, Laravel provides us with many more useful features and does a good job of giving us a method of implementing separation of concerns through the use of MVC, or Model View Controller. Briefly, MVC is thus a model which contains our business logic and interaction with our application's data. A view, which presents the user visual data and a method of which to interact with our application, as well as receive feedback. A controller, which accepts view or user and model input and then translates the interactions between them. How the 3 components interact are quite important and represents the design side of the MVC architecture. You may or may not understand what the full power of this system is, but in time it will become second nature. Here are the Wikipedia descriptions of that design to give us a base understanding of how the process of our data moves. A controller can send commands to the model to update the model's state, such as editing a document. It can also send commands to its associated view to change the view's presentation of the model, such as scrolling through a document. A model notifies its associated views and controllers when there's been a change in its state. This notification allows the views to produce updated output, and the controllers will be able to change the available set of commands. In some cases, an MVC implementation might be instead passive, so that other components must poll the model for updates rather than being notified. A view requests information from the model that it needs in generating output representation to the user. Perhaps you're thinking, whoa, that's a lot to take in. If so, you're in good company. I felt this exact thing on my first listen. Immediately after that thought, my next was of denial. Why in the world do we need all this? It's for sure a common question, one that I hope to answer in this course.